delighted to be joined today by Declan Geraghty. It's Sam Logue here, of course, for Green Blood Boxing. Deco, thanks very much for joining me today, man.
Don't be silly at all.
No, fair play to you, man. I really appreciate it. I suppose, let's just get straight into it. We're here in the Coliseum gym today. Obviously, you've transferred over here a couple of months ago now. Obviously, last fight was in September against Archie Sharp, and you've had a few months out since then. Obviously, you have joined the gym in the meantime as well. Talk to us a little bit about your time off. What have you been up to in the last few months?
Getting fat, getting lazy and fat. I came up with the P just before the start of the year, this year, so I've been ticking away, doing a little bit after. I did a bit before, and then I said to Pete, I'll make the decision after the Christmas if I wanted to still box or not. Came up here, enjoyed it. I clicked well with all the boys. A lot of the boys I knew personally already, or know personally a long time. And then I came up after January and went back full time training and enjoying it. Trying to shed off the weight, trying to get trim again.
I tell you what, you don't look like you put on too much weight, man. We could take a leaf out of your book, I think. You obviously had a few months off. Did you kind of use that to kind of reevaluate things a little bit yourself? Maybe go travel, go around, go on holidays, kind of, as you said there, enjoy yourself, maybe reevaluate how you want to go forward with your career?
I just kind of, like, my father trained me and he did a great job boxing-wise. Skill-wise, no one's ever dealt with the quality I had of skill, and I was saying what's missing, you know what I mean? And maybe because of the relationship with father and son, it was getting a bit tense, and I just took a step back. And then I always believed in my ability, and I have never fulfilled my potential. Even as an amateur, I never fulfilled my potential. And then it's really played a big part of the weight. Like, usually, like, I sit at 75 kilos when I'm out of camp, and like I fight at 58.9. So you're talking about the guts of near enough 3 stone, and it's not like I'm a chubby fella. I'm so tall. And also, the older you get, the harder it is to lose. Like, at the start, it used to be easy enough to lose, but the older you get, it starts getting harder. It takes a few weeks. Even now, like, it's not coming off straight away. It's taking a few weeks before I start seeing the difference. Yeah. So I came back, I had a chat with P, and we decided we'll go at a new way because of I believe my punch resistance is going down. Like, the first thing that happened when I came up here training with all the coaches, but like the lads who helped me out. You have Butch, you have Brian, you have Mark Kennedy, you have Neil, Niall. And the first thing they did when I was doing pads with me, all was saying how much you bang. And even Pete, like, I'm surprised they never thought how hard I hit. And I was down there because I'm so used to taking so much weight off and getting in and out punches. So now it's kind of I'm sitting down a little bit more, I'm leaving the weight on, I'm feeling that bit stronger. And there's no doubt I can box, and it was always the question of what else is missing. Yeah. And now it's like I'm actually sparring and kind of bullying people. I'm sitting down and pushing people back, bullying even that, and I still have the boxing IQ. So we're just trying to add on to what I have, and it's going well for me for the time being. I'm looking forward to my first professional fight with Pete and taking on from there.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, there's a lot there. A few really interesting things that I'd love to touch on. I was going to definitely ask you about the decision to kind of move to P, and kind of within that question. Obviously, you were trained by your dad. Maybe what were the reasons for maybe wanting a change there? Maybe you can go into a bit more detail there and hit a little bit on, like, maybe what does Pete offer? I mean, he seems to be in high demand at the moment. So what does Pete offer, and maybe what was maybe missing training with your dad where you needed a change?
What I would say was missing with my father was nothing to do with the boxing side of things. Boxing side of things was great, but like, Pete's a qualified strength and conditioning coach as well, and he knows his strength and conditioning, and he's great at. Pete's a great technician at boxing. He's a professional at boxing. Like, he really knows his boxing, and he's like, what he's teaching us is what I did as the amateur. A lot of the boys wouldn't have done it because they wouldn't have been at a high level as amateurs. Hold on.
Oh, there you go. We're on a sensor here. Go ahead there.
So he knows his boxing, and what he's teaching is what I kind of learned as an amateur, but he's refreshing my memory, which is good. Which as a pro, sometimes you neglect them kind of things. But for my father, it's nothing that was missing. It's just sometimes it's hard to have a relationship with father and son. Like, telling you to constantly do this. Like, my father was a great boxing man, and that shows of. Like, he's taught me how to box. No one else has taught me how to box. He's taught me how to box, and even Pete, Pete and all said when I was up there, he's never dealt with me boxing IQ. And boxing IQ is magnificent, it can be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just what was missing, other aspects of missing of it, and was to me was like for the Geraghty fight, it was the weight what killed me. I had to we weighed in. We fought Friday, we weighed in Thursday morning. From Wednesday night till Thursday morning, I trained 8 times with a sweatsuit on. Between 5 o'clock that night to I think it was 10 o'clock that morning. I had to do 3 sessions. 3 sessions the Thursday morning to take the weight off. The weight just wasn't coming off. But I was at a stage now I'm professional in the sense of like as an amateur you used to say to yourself, oh, I'm not doing it. As a professional now, it's like there's no even point to crying about it or moaning. I even talk to anyone about it. I just shut off from the world. I just stayed in the room. I get up and go train and come back. I knew I had to make the weight, simple as there was nothing about it. I had to make the weight. So I made a weight. I think that's what killed me, to be honest with you. The thing about Archie's on the verge of fighting for the world title. He really got found out in the fight. I wasn't even out with second or third. I was actually talking to them in the ring. It was really, really, really easy and casual for me, and they were all saying how great of a boxer he was. He got that lucky punch, and I believe the lucky punch it's coming from the weight was taken off me. Like I said, I take the guts of 2 to 3 stone off every time. The same with the Mark McCullough fight. Out of all the lads I've lost, Mark McCullough would probably be the weakest name, and I'm glad to see him retired and not to leaving on a high. But he'd probably be the weakest name, and the same crack with him was very, very easy. I actually hurt him just before he knocked me out. But that fight was probably the scariest fight of the weigh-ins for me, because at one stage at the day of the weigh-in, there was no fluid on my skull. My eyes were glazed open wide out, and I probably looked like I was even past the stage of looking like a junkie. That's how scared I was looking. Me missus was very upset when she seen me the day of the weigh-in, and the boys couldn't. I just wore a hat and a big pair of glasses. I couldn't talk. That's how bad I was making the weight. But listen, everyone has excuses, and this is not excuse. All these boys have bet me. These boys have bet me, and I moved on. But I just believe this is the reason why I haven't. This has played a part of why I haven't fulfilled my potential is the way. So now we're gonna move up and after changing up with a fantastic coach, Pete Taylor, with a fantastic group of boxers, which is good to have. The thing with me and my father was only ever me and Jay. There was me and Jay would train separate times, on which there's no one there to edge it on or push it on or push. It was like I was the best there, and there was no one else. But there now you have Gary's a great runner.
Struggling here with this light, are we? But obviously the atmosphere in the gym as well,
the atmosphere is great, and it's good to have you have so many boxers. You have Alan Duffy's coming on leaps and bounds on. Alan Duffy is doing brilliant. His boxing wise is Alan Duffy was the fella with the boxing as far as I know, and boxing wise he can box. He's neglecting a few things, but he's gonna work on. But Alan Duffy's doing well. Gary Cully's doing super. Luke Keeler just fought for a world title. I believe Luke will bounce back. Then you have Sam Caroll Zenin, Robert Burke. You have and then other lads. John Carpenter's at the turnover. You have Shane Roach is up as well. Tony McGlynn is another great boxer. My father won an intermediate title with him. He did. My father was his coach. Right. Tony McGlynn can really box. He's actually he's very similar to me. He's a bit more lazy, and I'm lazy, so he's a bit more lazy, but he's bigger. Tony McGlynn's pretty good. There's so many good. I feel like there's even more I could be forgetting here. You know what I mean? But there's so many good lads up there, and push on. It's a good atmosphere, and technically wise, Pete knows his stuff. He really does know his stuff.
That was definitely something. To be honest, there's so much there I want to go back and touch on with the weight and stuff like that, which I feel really, really interesting. But very quickly, just as you're speaking about Pete there, what is it about Pete that is attracting not just yourself but all of these guys? I mean, you've got high level guys like the two Tyrones, McCullough, McKenna, Tommy McCarthy. Luke is very high level, and Luke is kind of come out himself and said Pete is almost essentially the full reason for him kind of raising those levels. So talk to me a little bit about, and you were obviously highly involved in the amateur setup in Ireland, what does Pete bring to the table in terms of technical work? He kind of knows all the little intricacies and stuff. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, for the situation with Pete is I know Pete a long time. A lot of them wouldn't have known Pete. I know Pete. I'm near enough sure Sean Turner would know him longer than me, but besides Sean Turner, I would know Pete more than and the rest of them, because I used to go down and spar Katie on a regular basis. I was one of Katie's sparring partners for a long time, and Pete used to. And I've always rated Pete as a coach. I always did rate him as a coach, and first and foremost, we get along as friends. Yeah. Even though he's a coach, he obviously would have been around Katie, and at the end of the day, is Katie got there because of him, or because of hard work, and same as myself, what I'm saying myself, I got so far as an amateur because of my hard work, but my father gave me the knowledge, and that's what would have happened to her now. I know she would have having Pete and Zor, and Zor is Pete will tell you, he's a master class. He's the kind of one who brought technical boxing to the boxing high performance, yeah. So Zor was the leading way of it, and then you would have having Billy Walsh, and then you would have having Pete. And like, I was only talking to Pete, like, it's mad to think, like, him and Kate were the only ones that ever go to the, like, world champions for women. It was always her as an individual, and he would have been with her. Yeah. But now it's a whole group, a whole team of women now, so it's at the change. And so he's around the amateur setup a long time, and he would have picking up things up off Sore, and also when he's going training. Like, Pete's always willing to learn, and he's always willing to study, and he'll tell you himself he doesn't know it all, but he's always learning, and that shows you how positive he can be, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's a big thing for a coach, is realising that they always have something to learn and that they don't know it all. I think that's huge. I want to go back, Declan, and just touch quickly on the weight issue. I mean, being like a fan of Irish boxing and a fan of yourself, we watch you fight, and we've always watched you against good fighters, but competitive fights that you could definitely have won. And unfortunately, you've been knocked out a few times. The John Caroll fight was slightly different fight. I think stylistically maybe it was a little bit difficult, but in pretty much every fight you've been winning, and then unfortunately been caught. Something that we maybe never thought about before, because you did seem to make the weight and nobody really ever heard of any complications, at least say for a fan on the outside. Never really heard about many complications if you make them weight. We always just thought maybe there was maybe something just missing, like, because you're outboxing these guys. I mean, I remember watching the Archie Sharp fight, and no disrespect to Archie Sharp, he's a very good fighter in his own right, but you were winning quite handily in the first couple of rounds, and then all of a sudden you get caught. So do you think, is it completely down to the weight, or was there something missing? Is there some sort of, maybe, I don't know what you would say, maybe an attitude thing, or is there something, did you get complacent in the fight, and in the previous fights with the likes of Marco and stuff? Do you know what I mean? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, for the Marco and Archie Sharp fight, the two camps went brilliant. Yeah. There was no hiccups on the way in, so I believe the weight played a big part in that. Yeah. For the, like, people were saying about, like, no one really thought about the weight, is because it was only me and my dad training. I wouldn't go to anyone. I'd get it done. That was the way it was. No matter what, I'd get it done. So the weight was always an issue, but we never made a big deal about it, because we got on and we kept quiet, and we just got the job. Even when I fought Tennyson, I kind of went up and down that day. The reason I'd go up and down that day, because we knew what I needed to get into the altitude rooms and the hot rooms to take the weight off, you know what I mean? So the weight was always a problem. For the Tennyson, first of all, for the John O'Fur's fight, I never should have been disqualified. Okay. And if anyone ever watches that fight, he actually hit me an elbow. He actually swung with his right and missed the right, and comes back and hits me with an elbow, and he's constantly punched me back in the head, so I started getting dirty with him. So he kind of, I fell into his trap. I shouldn't have really gotten disqualified. I won that fight. I was winning that fight, and I believe I should have won it. Shouldn't have been disqualified. Even with the public one, I still was winning it. The Tennyson fight, Tennyson knocked me out. There was not a whole lot you could do with it. But for the stoppage there, I said to the referee asked me, was I okay? And I was still punching. At the end of the day, we know what kind of job we're in. We're not here. Like, I understand the what could happen to me, and so I'm getting in fully aware of what can happen to me. But if I'm still conscious, if I'm not knocked out, and I'm still fighting back, the fight shouldn't be stopped. And it wasn't like I was taking a beating. By no means the form was winning the fight handy as well. Besides them two knockdowns, really handy. I don't think I ever got the justice for what they did, because Tennyson went on and didn't, like, Tennyson's had a much harder route than John O'Carroll. And he's done a lot better. Out of everyone he's lost, everyone he's fought besides Farmer, I'm the only one who gave him real trouble. I know Martin J. Ward gave him a bit of trouble, but he got Martin J. Ward out pretty early, and he really hurt Martin J. Ward. But I was still throwing, the referee asked me, was I okay? And I said, yeah, and I was still throwing with 5 seconds to go, which I won every single round besides the knockdown. Yeah. So I think that fight, like, if that fight didn't get stopped, where would that have gone? And that, believe it or not, it's the same referee who did the John O fight and did the John O fight and the Tennyson fight. So where would my career go if it wasn't for the first loss, and then for that? I believe I wouldn't have the Tennyson fight. I would have, like, the first time he knocked me down, I got back on my bike and I started punching, and I won. I think he knocked me down the second or third round, and after he knocked me down, I got up and actually started fighting him. I actually hurt him to the body. Yeah. I pushed on forward towards that end of that round, and for the rest of the rounds till the fight got stopped, I was on my bike and was making easy work of it. So that was them two. For the last fight, Jono beat me. Jono did beat me. For style wise, I could have played a big part, but I had to get there's no excuse, because at the end of the day, everyone has. I know Jono had cuts coming into the fight, and he had to mind his eyes. I had to get another operation on my nose after the fight. The cartilage in my nose was broke. So I can't actually. People ask me why I gassed up so easy. I can't get oxygen through the nose. I had to breathe through the mouth through the whole fight. Okay. So it plays a part. But at the end of the day, that was the one fight where I'd say I wasn't winning. Simple as I wasn't winning. You know what I mean? I do believe I can beat him. And I've heard little things. Someone told me over in Spain that when he was down in the port, that he's still surprised that he did beat me. You know what I mean? I remember saying to a mutual friend, saying that he shouldn't have. How true is it not? He goes, I shouldn't have beaten you. I should have never actually beaten Declan for the skill wise. But at the end, he's had to win. He's moving on. I wish him all the best in the fight he has next week. And then for the two last fights against what I said, Marco and Archie. I think the way, believe it or not, I was moving up after the Marco fight. After the Marco lost, I said, that's just we're done. We were thinking about moving up before the fight, and we said, well, Marco's there. Marco's an easy touch. We were thinking he's after having a few hard wars. He's at the decline. And Marco was a very good amateur as well. I don't think he fulfilled what I feel as an amateur. But he was a good amateur. He was around the same time as me, but I just think he was on the decline. He takes a lot of punches, and it slows the brain down. And so I was thinking of packing it in. I was thinking about moving up the weight before the Marco fight. Got that fight. This would be an easy touch. I was thinking, even though the camp went really well, and that happened. And then I was like, we're definitely moving up now. And like, first of all, there was nowhere else I could have gone. There was no one else in Ireland that's super for the weight. Where could you really go? And then we were touching on the Archie said, we were touching on saying, I'll beat Marco, and then we'll fight Archie next for his WBO belt. You know what I mean? I was thinking IBF WBO in the same year would be. Because we could believe it. And then it just appeared that Marco didn't take the Archie Sharp fight, and they offered me, and I said, fuck, we'll take it. We took it. That went tits up, and then I was like, okay, now it's either pack it in or make big changes. But I said, like, I'm going to have next loss either way. If I get to a world level and lose, I'm going to pack it in no matter who I fight next. If I pick up a loss, that's the end of my boxing career. If I fulfill the potential I believe I could do, or if I don't fulfill it, I still pack it in after the next loss. I would. Even if I'm winning every single round with 10 seconds to go, I get stopped. That's me. I made a decision no matter what. That's me. Okay. I'll step out of the game. I will, because it's hard on the body, but even financially, it's very difficult. You know what I mean? It's only that small percentage who gets the rewards out of it. You know what I mean? You're doing it for the love of it and believe in what you could believe the bigger goal is. And sometimes, like, you're not hitting these goals. You're like, what am I even doing it for?
Yeah. That's really interesting that you touched on the money side of things. It was just maybe something that the likes of myself would be a little bit reluctant to ask about. But if I can push on that slightly, I mean, obviously that is something we do here. Like, it's not necessarily particularly financially rewarding until you get quite high up. Like, but I mean, how sustainable is it at your level, at the kind of Irish, British level? You know, you're fighting on TV, on good promotions. How financially viable is it? I won't ask about figures, but
well, look at it this way. Like, I've only had 2 fights this year. You only have 2 fights. You need to be regularly fighting, for your regular fighting, you need to be regularly winning. And you're taking these big step ups, and sometimes you hit them speed bumps. It doesn't happen. But I know, like, the lads who are starting off, like, they had to pay the promoter a house fee just to get onto the show, because the promoters need to cover the cost of renting out the venue and all that. And then you have to pay so much to get the opponent, and then so you're paying. You could be paying like $500 to $750 just to get onto the show, to the house fee.
So and you're paying just to get on the show.
I'd be on a different kind of deal, but I know a lot of boys could be doing that. They could be paying that. Like I know they're doing a show in Dublin, and someone told me, like, they're looking for 1,500, I think they said, or more, just to be on the show. You know what I mean? And that's without paying for your opponent. So it's hard. Like, and people think like it's a glamour sport. Boxing ain't a glamour sport by no means form, but I do it because I love it. For the time, like, I've won, like, unboxing. I've had my first official fight when I was 11 years of age. Even though I had a few fights when I was, like, when I'm talking about fighting, I probably had my first fight when I was 7 years of age, but my first official fight on card was 11 years of age. So the work I'm at the putting into the age I am now is like, if I did that, if I put that into education, I'd have a pass my degree, I could have a master's, I could have a serious job with serious money, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have a sister who I have a younger sister who's a year younger than me who has the brains, and she's a qualified accountant. She has a degree in masters, and there's something above a masters what she has as well in accountancy. She has her own house, and there I am. People look at me and saying, "Professional boxing TV," and like it's on, the way it weighs up. It's totally different.
Yeah.
And if I put this time, because you like at the end of the day, when I was an amateur, it was like with the Irish team, there's no more you could do besides fucking train. Now, lucky enough, you got a grant as an amateur, and because it was so high up on the amateur setup, but like you're there from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. It was a job, 5:30 every single day, and like people think and work your clock off. That's the end of it. You're going home, you have to watch your diet. You still you can't go out socialising. It plays like it's 24/7. And as a professional, a lot of people have to work. You know what I mean? So you have to get jobs, and it's difficult to get a job and train full time. So there's no point in feeling sorry for yourself. You know what you're getting into doing. You know what you're doing. You're doing this for the sake of you know what the outcome of it is. If it's gonna work or it's not gonna work, you know you have to do it. Like, you know. Yeah. I'm not doing it for no one else but myself now, you know what I mean? Yeah, I get you. But it's hard, it's difficult, and
it's a risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a risk you take that you're going to make it to that level where you're financially secure, or maybe you don't, and then you have to figure something out.
Yeah, like Phil Sullivan at the moment was Phil Sullivan. Like when we were turning over, people are talking about me or him. Definitely, it was 50-50 between who would win a world title. But one was definitely should have won a world title. Yeah. And then Phil's at the going to Australia, and he's walking over there. You know what I mean? So like it's like. And Phil had the potential that he has such a punch. He had a great little fan base. He's a well liked fella, he is, and a bubbly person, and a lot going for him. And as well as he could box, as well as bang, and like all he did was the same as me. He focused everything on boxing. Everything was on boxing, and then it didn't work out for him, and possibly it probably won't work out for me as well. But then you have to weigh it up and see what's next for you.
Yeah, 100%. It's really interesting to hear you say those things, man. Like. It is. I suppose it's probably quite hard sometimes to be kind of that realistic, like you're saying there. Like maybe it won't work out. It's hard to do that when the dream has probably for yourself always been as an elite amateur, etc. has always been professional world champion. That's been the dream, hasn't it? But yeah, I mean it's really, really interesting. There's a few things I wanted to kind of push on and talk to you about. I think we've covered loads of really interesting things there, but. What's next for you, do you think? I mean, is there any names you're looking at? Is there a date been proposed? What are you looking at coming up for you next? The weight, if you want to let us know, what weight are you looking to fight at?
I'm more likely going to do 140 light welter for now and do a feel-out process, and I feel strong enough that only time will tell. For what's next, I don't know really what's next. I'll wait until this is the problem with boxing as well. Sometimes you don't know what's next. You're sitting in the dark because your manager, your promoter don't know what's next either, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like, it's difficult in Ireland because there's only so many shows. Like in England, there's a lot more shows and there's more money pumped in. First and foremost, you need to bring a crowd, you know what I mean? That's the problem as well. People, like, I know Stephen Sharp and Celtic Clash are doing great, but they can only do so many shows because of. They can only do so many shows as well, and MTK are leading the way, but like, there's only so many shows they can do, and like. And the South, there's not a whole lot. I know they're doing this Ring King now in Dublin next month, and hopefully it takes off. And there's more shows because when there's more shows, I think people jump on the bandwagon more. Like the UFC is doing fucking the MMA, I should say, not UFC. The MMA is doing magnificent. Bellator and Bama, and then they have like the UFC itself is coming to Dublin. Like they're dragging crowds upon crowds, and like. It's mad the way they're doing on the boxing, and beforehand boxing used to drag the crowds when Bernard Dunn was there, and the MMA wasn't really around. So it just, I don't know. It's hard to say why it's not working out for the boxing just yet. But I know like MTK are doing great there, and putting as many shows as possible up the north. And Stephen Sharp and Leonard Gunn are doing pretty well, putting shows on as well up the north, and. It's good to see, like, it'd be nice to see more people getting involved and more shows and bigger crowds too, you know what I mean? Like, MTK is selling out the York Hall every time, the Ulster Hall every time they're up the north, and I know, like, they have big shows with Frampton and then Michael Conlon as well. So, like, it's plugging away, and it's hopefully something will just kickstart and maybe he'll come back down to the south maybe at some stage.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'd hope for it to come back down to the south. So I was picking it back up. Deco. So we were talking a little bit about yourself, and kind of it'd be great to see boxing picking back up again in Dublin. I mean, like you said, you referenced the Bernard Dunn days there when we had shows in what was then the Point Depot, the Tree Arena. You know, Bernard Dunn filling the place out. You had like Andy Lee on the undercard. You had a lot of Katie fought, I'm pretty sure, 1 or 2 times on those cards as an amateur. Like back when boxing was still big and RTE were supporting boxing. What do you think are some of the issues there? Why is that not happening at the moment? Like, why is it kind of died in the south? Are there issues with, like, in terms of cost, venues, insurance? These are all things that I've heard. Do you have any insight into what the problem is down south here?
Well, I heard the cost is meant, the insurance and the cost is meant to be a lot more with the BUI and the insurance and all that. I wouldn't know too much ins and outs because I'm promoter sort of things, but I think what plays a part of when they do have a show here and maybe they're not filming it the way it should be is because of the money. Like I see like the Bama when the shows are coming up on hearing, on seeing posters and hearing about it everywhere I go. I don't think the boxing, they're not really, even though pumping money into the show itself for that night and bring good opponents over, you need talk of word. You need like the radio to be talking about. I never really heard about the radios talking about it because of, and like money to be pumped into the commercial side of things. You know what I mean? Or sometimes as mad as it sounds, like make one fella like James Gallagher was leading the way and people know him, and James is now person and there's been money pumped into him and he's known well. He's well known in Ireland now. Maybe like some of the south, if the like for Luke Keeler fighting that world, like if he was promoted as a PR, pushed a little bit more as bigger, and he did a show in the south, people, not only boxing fans, other fans, people would, like if Mick Conlon fought in the south, people would come to see him because he's had to be pushed in other ways than just the boxing circle. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that would play a big part in it. Yeah.
So you think kind of we need to push maybe some individuals as well? I mean, I suppose the reference there of James Gallagher is a good reference. I think one of the issues that we have is Gallagher is being pushed by Bellator, and there's been a lot of money pushed into him by a big promotion like Bellator. And I think, is that maybe what we're missing down here? We have a few smaller guys like Boxing Ireland promotions, etc., who are trying to do some work and try and put on shows down the south, but they're not big promotions. So you know what I mean? Like, so is it how can we then promote the bigger fighters when you don't have maybe the tool or the big organisation behind you to actually put the money in and push them?
Yeah, well, Boxing Ireland and I know Red Corner now when they were about, like, they are only smaller time promotionals, and they wouldn't have the money to pump in. Like, I know Stephen Sharp personally, and he's doing very well for the boys, and he's doing the best he can do from what he has. But like MTK, like I said, Michael Conlon's a massive name, and he's had to be like pushed besides the boxing circle, but he's up the north. So MTK ain't down the south at the moment, so they probably wouldn't focus so much as doing that or having that one thing, because like as us as boxers, we're going up to the north to fight, and it's like, if you really think about it, I haven't fought as a home fighter in God knows how long now. I'm mostly away for it, because even when I fight up the north, that's not my home. Like it's Belfast, but it's Northern Ireland, but it's not Dublin. You know what I mean? So that's just the way it is. Like for the time being, and it's unfortunately at this period of time in my career, that's the way that they're going. But I'm sure they will come down the south again at some stage, and like if Gary Cully's still here, it'll help Gary Cully. And like more of the younger lads will probably happen there. Like I think me and Luke will probably miss the boat for that situation. But only time will tell what'll happen. Like it's like sometimes, like I said, some of the boys need to be pushed in a PR where the more just not. Like I remember Michael when he was on the amateur setup, he did a few TV things like and then was it Dragon's Den? That wasn't. I think that wasn't. Sorry, Dragon's Den. It was something like that. It wasn't Dragon's Den, but something like that. The Apprentice or something like that. It was like stuff like that helped his profile. You know what I mean? And which I think the boys need to be pushed in. Like at the end they were boxers, but that's not like, we all have personalities and different kind of personalities, and it needs to be, their personalities need to be shown outside the boxing. You know what I mean? Like different sides. So like Tyrone McKenna's doing very well for himself. He's promoting himself as well as MTK promoting him and pushing him in the PR. He's doing himself very well. The way he dresses, the way he talks, he comes out with fucking, like him and Tyrone are like the way they dressed us, the stage for Dumb and Dumber, like, I don't know if the team came up with that or they came up with themselves, but that was a great PR stunt for them, you know what I mean? Stuff like that's doing very well, but it's just, I don't know, like, the smaller promotions, I just don't think they have the money, or even, like, I don't think they really have anyone signed who's like a big name, you know what I mean, at the moment. So, like, who do you have signed are more lads who are starting off, so they're only getting their feet now in the boxing circle, never mind outside the boxing circle.
Yeah, I get you. Now, look, it is difficult at the moment, and hopefully we can see a rise. And I think you're right as well. I think, unfortunately, a lot of fighters are going to have to try and do a lot for themselves to try and up their or increase their popularity and the amount of people kind of with their eyeballs on them, you know. Obviously the two Tyrons are doing a really good job, funny guys, clever, actively trying to get attention through Instagram, etc., and obviously doing interviews and stuff. So fair play to them lads, and probably more lads need to try and take a leaf out of their book. But
a lot of people don't understand is that when you turn over, like, the boys who are fighting on the shows need to sell tickets to be on the shows. People don't understand this, so like I know a few people that turn over, I won't mention names, who are really shouldn't even be professional boxers, shouldn't even be semi-pro, they're really bad, but they can sell tickets, so they're getting well looked after and like getting the handy fights, which is good for them, but it ain't great for boxing. But that's the way boxing is, that you need to be able to sell tickets, so it's a crying shame the way it is, but that's the bottom truth of it. Like, for lads turning over, they need to understand, they need to be selling 75 to 100 tickets to make if even €1,000 off that, you know what I mean, to make €1,000 for themselves, and never mind the cost of living, training, the food, their equipment, like, it all adds up. So people need to really think if they're going to turn over, because I know a lot of boys turned over at one stage, at a period everyone was turning over, like, if you weren't doing anything in the amateur, you were just turning over. And I think a lot will turn over now with the Olympics going out the window, with a lot of people who can't make the Olympics, and when the Olympics are out the window, people be turning over. But they understand is, look, I know a few lads who are good, but who are good lads, and they wouldn't make a bad pro, but they can't sell tickets, so they can't even turn over. So it's just the way it is, like. But realise who was turning over is that if you can get a good sponsor who's going to financially back you, that you have to be willing to sell tickets. And these are things you have to need to put in preparation before you know that, okay, who am I going to fight or anything like that. So this is just the way boxing is.
Really interesting. But as I say, hopefully we can kind of everyone can come together, and the media and the fighters, and try and push it down the south a bit more to get it going. But I want to push on now and speak a little bit about some of the fights coming up. Obviously, one big fight coming up that you would have probably more of an insight than anyone else would be John Caroll versus Scott Quigg, March 7th, so next Saturday. What do you think about the fight? And I mean, who do you pick? If you can maybe go into it a little bit.
I'd like to see John win, because I know John. I don't know Scott from Adam to Eve, so I'll always support someone I know. I don't understand people who don't support people they know. Personally, I don't understand that. But I haven't seen Scott Quigg fight in a long time. I reckon he's probably over the hill, but he has a punch. He was never a great boxer. He wasn't a high volume puncher, but he had a punch. Boxing wasn't bad, but he wasn't a great boxer. He sounds a bit punch drunk as well. For John doesn't shut up talking. I watched 2 minutes of that face off, and I just turned it off. I goes, he's gonna go on a rant. I couldn't listen to him no more. He fucking doesn't shut up, man. The problem with John is when I've done press conference and I'm talking, he still wants to talk. He doesn't understand. You shut up and let me talk, you talk. John just doesn't shut up talking. That's just the way he is. John's had to do very well for himself as someone who's very limited as a boxer. And he is limited as a boxer. Okay. I well believe he's improving underneath Albert, which would be a good move. Albert's a great coach. John has a great volume of punches, but boxing IQ it wouldn't be a great boxing IQ, but he is improving. He doesn't have no punch. If he thinks he can knock someone out, he doesn't punch hard, but he has a great volume of punches, which is obvious. Boxing IQ, I believe it is improving. So I would expect John to win, but like I said, I haven't seen Scott Quigg, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't even tune in to watch. I won't tune in to watch. I think I'm out that night. I am with the missus for a bit of food and one of our friends' parties. So it won't be something like deliberately like make out my way to stay up, because I couldn't really give a fuck. But I do hope he does win. You know what I mean? But like it's no sweat off my back. I'm not that way. I've nothing to do with either fighter no more. And personally, none of them are my friend. Like, you know what I mean?
I get you. Yeah. So am I detecting maybe still a slight bit of animosity between you and Jono, or?
No, when I see Jono, we say hello, but like I said, he's not my friend. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're forgetting, the boxing in Ireland's very small. Like people ask me who am I gonna fight at 140. I'm like, the boys at 140 I all know personally, so it's a cunt. Like, I don't want to call anyone out because like personally I like them. I do like them, and some of them are friends. Jono, like I said, wouldn't be a friend, but I'd say hello to him. You know what I mean? Like, hell yeah, that's it. And his missus is a lovely woman. Gemma's a lovely woman, and I know he has a kid, so I'd ask Gemma how's the kid. I'd say to him how's the kid, but that'd be about it. There's no more and no less. Like, I've no warm feeling for him. I've no hate for him. Like, he's just hell yeah, good boy, and that's the end of it. Like, like I said, I would like to see him win because of he's Irish and I do know him, but he's not a friend, and that would be really it with that situation with him.
I get you. What do you think, just to go a little bit on the technical side of things, he's obviously quite a lot bigger than Scott Quigg. I mean, Jono's fought at lightweight, come down to super feather. I'm not sure if he'd be a massive super feather, but he's a big lad. He's quite strong. Scott Quigg's coming up from super bantamweight to featherweight, fought for a world title at featherweight against Oscar Valdez, got beat fairly comfortably against Valdez, had a couple of fights, kind of hit himself away in America. I don't know if it was the best thing for him to do, to be honest, like in terms of his career. Not that I really should be commenting on that, but he had a big name in the UK, then he kind of disappeared to America, and now he's coming back. He's two weights up. How do you see that playing out? Do you think that the size factor is a big thing for Jono?
No, I wouldn't say it's size factor, because I believe Scott would actually harder than Jono. But Jono was never a lightweight. When people said he came down, it was me and his fight was made at lightweight. I was never even a lightweight at the time. It was made at lightweight, but we were actually only feathers or super feathers really at the time. Yeah. It was just made at lightweight, and because it wasn't like a big fight, even though it turned into a massive rivalry and a massive fight on the card. But like he fought, like I said, Scott moved to featherweight and fought Oscar Valdez, which is a very good opponent. He's been the world card. He's over with Freddie, training with Freddie. I actually trained over there for the world with Freddie as well. I
didn't know that. Now talk a little bit about that for me.
I was when I won the seniors. I was 21. I moved over there, and I was actually going to sign professional. I was in talks with Top Rank. Yeah, with Freddie and Jamie Kavanagh put me onto another manager who was talking to James' old manager, and they were in talks for me. There was talks about me staying over there, but I just kind of, a lot of personal problems happened at home, and I just decided to come home. I was only young. When I was 21, I looked about fucking 16, you know what I mean? So I was there on my own. Yeah. So I just came home after a while, even though Freddie and all, like, I'm sure like he'll have 100 people going in now he wouldn't remember. Now a few people still remember me when I go over. I still have a few friends I still keep in contact who are trainers in the gym. And but they wanted me to stay, and I just decided I got cold feet, came home, did the seniors, and then turned with MTK then after. Yeah. But like I said about Scott Quigg, I haven't really followed his career too much besides the last time he fought Frampton. I won a few quid on Frampton that night, but besides that I never followed his career too much. Yeah. So I don't really know if he's over the hill or not over the hill. He does sound punch drunk, but that's the only thing about him, and it's a crying shame of seeing boxers go like that. So if this is last fight, this is last fight. If it's not, it's not like.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless, it's an interesting fight, isn't it? It's going to be an interesting one. I mean, I know you said that you're not too interested in kind of making sure you're there to watch it, but I'm looking forward to it myself. I think it's going to be at the very least a fan-friendly fight to watch. I mean, Jono, as you said, like you've come out yourself and said kind of maybe he might be limited in certain areas, but one thing you did say is that he throws a lot of punches, and he comes forward, and he does give you that kind of entertaining fight style.
I actually think he might be cautious. I think he might be cautious and attack and then get out fast. That's the way he's gonna go, because Quigg could hit him at any time and hurt him. So I think he'd be a bit more cautious and won't be as reckless coming in. But like I said, I'm not gonna be watching. I couldn't really care about who wins or not. But I do believe people who like boxing, especially Dublin people who support boxing, should be behind and watch him and wish him all the best. You know what I mean? But Jono talks some pony, and I don't even believe. I remember I seen an interview with Scott Quigg. He turned around and said, "I don't think Jono even believes what the shit stuff. Jono doesn't believe half the shit he says. Trust me on that. I knew that after the first fight, he doesn't believe half the shit he says. But he's at that PR himself pretty well. He's at that overachieving what he should have getting, and I hope he keeps overachieving."
Yeah. No, that's definitely interesting. So you think that maybe a lot of it is psychological, what he says. He's trying to annoy his opponent. He's trying to like talk the ears off you, say a load of things to kind of get you upset, get you thinking, you know what I mean, get into your head before the fight. Is that more what it is?
I'll tell you what with John, just how much he talks shit about is that when I had the last press conference against him, he actually nudged his head against me, and I got pulled back on a tournament and said, "Come outside, I'll fight you." And I said to him, "Come outside," and he goes, "Come outside." And then he put on Instagram, "I'm outside." An hour later, I'm outside where I actually caught him in the hotel room, and I was in the reception. He walked by me and I whistled and goes, "I'm here now." And he kept on walking and laughed and kept on walking. Yeah. That goes to show, even though he was outside saying, "I'm outside, where are you?" And he spotted me. He was on his own and I was on his own. I was on my own. He was on his own, I was on my own. I was sitting down. And he went by, he was actually FaceTiming me, mate, and I turned the FaceTime and showed him and goes, "Yeah, look at this." And I whistled, goes, "Come on over to me now." And I stood up and he kept on walking out the door. So John O'Dog's shite, man. But it works for him, so let him do what he's doing. He's doing well for himself. He's headlining a fight in Manchester, I think it is. Manchester. He's headlining a fight in Manchester as a away fighter, which fair play to them. Not many Irish fellas do that. Yeah. Fair play to them.
Definitely, he's carved out a career for himself. He's got attention, like you said, and he's doing very well. So fair play to him, and obviously we support him and we hope he wins the fight. Let's touch a little bit on last weekend, Wilder Fury 2. I mean, unbelievable scenes. I mean, to be honest, I got up for that and I kind of did believe, if I'm honest, in the lead up, that what people missed is that Fury in the past, he's always kind of just talked rubbish, and he's kind of lied about what he's going to do. "I'm going to knock you out." But he's never trained to knock anyone out. But in this instance, maybe there were actually signs. You know, he was training with trainers who are knockout people. Andy Lee is a knockout guy. The Kronk Gym is famous for that style of going and finishing opponents. And he's obviously put on a lot of weight. So he was showing signs of, actually, this is how I am going to fight. But still, I think for everybody, it was such a surprise when he went out and he went straight onto the front foot, like double feints, but always so smart pressure, but looking to push Wilder back. What did you think? I'm sure you watched it.
Yeah, I watched it. I stayed up, watched it. It was another thing. I wasn't actually staying up to watch it. I just couldn't sleep that night, so I was planning on watching the next day. But I believed he was going to win. I said he'd win. I tried to predict a bold statement and say Wilder will drop him the first and Fury will go on his bike and outbox him the whole rest of the round, besides one round towards it at the end, and then Fury would have won. I was surprised as much as everyone else as the way he had it. It's because you look at history and he's never done it before, really. You know, I mean, he's never done it. So why would he start doing it now? Would you believe it? But his tactics were spot on. Yeah. It's only people are saying Wilder can't fight in the back foot, but no one never said at the start that Wilder couldn't fight in the back foot. But even I'm saying Wilder actually can't fight in the back foot, but no one actually clicked that and thought like, but he did. You know what I mean? Yeah. He came up with these tactics, and Andy Lee and Sure Hill did a great job on him, you know what I mean, in the 7 weeks they had. And listen, he's an inspiration story what he's had to do, you know what I mean. It's brilliant to see, and I don't really want to see the third fight. I don't personally want to see the third fight now, and I think it's gonna make money, so that's why people be happy to make it. But I don't think it's gonna be a great fight. Yeah. I seen him come up with excuses saying his elbow was too heavy and this, that, and that. You'll always hear someone coming out with excuses. And they could play a little bit of a factor, but I seen him. Was it the Ortiz? He came out in the same outfit in a different colour. So like, I like to see him do it. I like to see him and AJ fight, and I'm sure everyone else would. I like to see him and White fight, because him and White would be a good build up.
Yeah, 100%.
Like he said, he has 3 fights left in him, and I assume it's going to be Wilder, and then I would like to see AJ. I think he beats them all. Yeah, he's at the showing, like, everyone only knows him as a great and elusive fighter. He's at the showing a whole different kettle of fish what he has in the locker, and it goes to show you he can do both styles. Yeah, 100%. I mean, definitely, and I'd be with you there on that one. Like, again, do we really want to see him fight Wilder? Like, he won in the first fight. I think pretty much everybody agrees that he got a draw, but he won the fight. Boxing on the back foot, being elusive, being smart, and then he changed it, like flipped the script completely, walked forward and stopped him. There's not too much, you can't argue with that, can you? Like, do we really want to see a third fight? Not really. But I tell you what I would like to see. I'd like to see them do it as soon as possible, so we can get the other fights as soon as possible. Listen, it wasn't an easy fight, it wasn't a close fight. He dominated, so that's why no one wants to see it. Even the first fight, as you said, he won. I thought he won pretty comfortable as well. Yeah, but you could see, you got knocked down. You might say, okay, you might want to see the second fight, and then you look what he's at down. There's no reason for the third fight, but at the end they sign the contracts. They have to do what they have to do. Yeah. As you said, I'd like to see the fight happen fast. Move on to, even if they just get White out of the way, and he says one last fight with AJ, and just do a finishing fight with AJ, be great. Yeah. I'd like to see, like, Yusuf is like another span that works. I don't know what he's gonna be like. He's a fantastic boxer. What's he gonna be like as a heavyweight? Is he gonna be too small? I just don't know. But he can box, so he can be a span that works. Why? Like, they don't always doing great for himself for someone who I don't think is a great boxer either. You know what I mean? Like, him and Cesaro fight was something else of a fight. It was. Brilliant. I actually thought Cesaro was winning. I thought Derek was beating him until he got knocked out. Yeah. So there's a few. It's good to see it's over in the Europe side of things. In England the belts are there, so and there's good names there, and the shows can be put on by Eddie or like even that the Bar and Joyce fight. That's a massive fight people want to see as well. Like, I
wanted to touch on that actually. What do you think? Who are you picking?
I'm gonna go with Joyce. Man. I'm gonna go with Joyce because he can box, and if he can, and he has he's well rounded and well groomed that he knows how to fucking take away a puncher's punch. Yeah. But there's good fights in the heavyweights, and there hasn't been for a long time. You know, man, it's good to see the excitement back in it. But boxing wise, a lot of them ain't up to the scratch of, like say the way the welterweights are or something like that. But like, there's excitement there, and it's great to see it back going on, and everyone loves to see knockouts.
100%, and that's interesting to hear you see. To hear you say you fancy Joyce in that fight. I, to be honest, don't really. I mean, and look, I'm just a fan. I don't know too much about the technical side of it. I don't really understand how so many people can be picking Daniel Dubois. He's a that's why. He's a big puncher, but you have to be able to land those punches. This is the thing with like Wilder and Fury. He's very good, but his opponents that he's fought so far have been subpar.
He fought Gorman, that was the only one. And to be honest with you, I never heard of Gorman until he did a job in Turner. Yeah. So it just goes to show you how that they're working out for himself. But like I said, only time will tell. You know what I mean? Only time will tell who will win that fight. Yeah, I definitely think like
Joyce is worth a punt there if you're a betting man. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, he's got that amateur experience. He has a better professional record. He's more schooled. He has more amateur fights. I think he has like pretty much everything in his favour. And like you said there, I think he's so skilled that he's going to be able to take away he's going to be able to tactically take away the power shots of Dubois, or at least to an extent that nobody else has been able to do. And he also has a granite chin. So I see this as a very, very tough task for Dubois, which a lot of people don't. They're just kind of hyped on his power.
We'll only say, like I said, we'll only wait and see what happens.
Yeah. No, it'll definitely be an interesting one. But I suppose the last thing I want to touch on is just a small one. It only came to my head earlier on. You would be quite friendly with Conor McGregor, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I know Conor personally, yeah. But like I said, like, it wouldn't be a best friend by no means of form. Like, it wouldn't help. He's texted me good looking fights, and I've texted him, and he's another inspiration story of what can happen with that drive and that goal and that belief. You know what I mean? He's the same stuff. He's came from fucking nothing. He's carried the MMA single-handedly to Ireland, you know what I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, and that's how all these lads coming up should be thankful for what he's had to do for them.
100%. And what I wanted to ask you was, first of all, did you see his fight against Cerrone? And second of all, talks that maybe he's going to fight Manny Pacquiao. So maybe you can comment on both of those fights.
The Manny Pacquiao happens. I'm here for sparring. He needs it. I know Andy O'Neill's his cut man. Andy O'Neill's my cut man. So I told Andy to get on him. Andy was like, "You're 5'11", Deck of Manny's 5'6" or something. I'll crunch down myself off it, do I? So he needs help out him there. Just roundly fight. I seen it. It was great to see him come back and do what he's had to do. And like, he's at the achieving everything he can achieve in the UFC. Like, does he still can make money without a shadow of a doubt? But is it, like, he could probably win one more belt at that third weight class. I'd like to see him and Khabib again. And like, but the problem is, like, even with myself, is he's addicted. He's doing this for so long. What are you meant to do after it? Like, that's like, people don't understand is, like, I need structure, and a lot of boxers need structure. And like, you're not working on 9 to 5. Where the fuck is your structure? People always say when they're not working, it's great 2 weeks. After you have the 2 weeks off work, you start losing yourself. What am I meant to do? You get bored. You don't know. You start mad thoughts come in, and that's what happens with boxing. They don't have the structure, and they need the structure. So he will always need the structure because that's all what he's used to.
Yeah. No, absolutely. what I wanted to actually touch on was, obviously he's talked a lot himself about coming into boxing, and that's one of the main reasons I wanted to speak to you about it, because obviously you know him, both you boxing in Crumlin, am I right? In Crumlin Boxing Club. He's talking about kind of coming into boxing, thinks he can win a world title in boxing, thinks he can. Do you think technically and in terms of his ability to learn and his ability to adapt, do you think someone like Conor McGregor, or Conor McGregor himself, can come into boxing and do anything?
Conor McGregor at the start was laughed at when he wanted to fight for the UFC. Yeah. And he went and won it. He was laughed at when he said he'd be two-way world champion. He was laughed at. He did it. Yeah. But he laughed at when he'd say he'd be a millionaire. You know what I mean? He's done it. He's done it. You know what I mean? So for boxing wise, it's different, and he knows it's different. I've sparred him, and he can box. Conor can box. He's very awkward. He's very awkward. He has a thump. He does. He's an awkward southpaw.
Does his power transfer into boxing?
Yeah, he has a thump. Yeah, he would have been a lot heavier than me when I sparred him. He had a thump, and I don't know. Like I said, in sparring, I never really got rocked. I didn't. That's why I wonder about my chin when I'm making weight, because sparring, I got hit and I say, okay, let's go, no problem. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But he can box, and listen, he's fought Mayweather. Who thought he was ever going to fight Mayweather? He said that to me when I was up sparring, and I was like, okay, it's going to happen. I was like, saying himself, really? Yeah. I couldn't see it happen, and it happened, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, why not? Like, he has that self. First of all, he has the money. He has the backing of. He has the profile. He's able to mark himself. He's got a global superstar. He's by far the most active global superstar that is. Besides Mayweather, there's no one bigger than him. Yeah. And Mayweather's not active no more. So he's the most active superstar that is, I believe. I believe he'll drag crowds upon crowds. Depends who he goes to fight and how he gets it, and who he gets on the landslide of. But he could easily win it. Yeah, I 100% could say he could win it. Yeah. I don't know if he will, but like I don't think Manny Pacquiao still has a belt. I don't know if he still has a.
He's the WBA welterweight champion.
So if he does fight him, he could. Manny's on the juice anyway, but Manny's definitely on the juice. I'm putting that out there. Manny's on the juice. Yeah. Manny's definitely on the juice. And
what makes you say that?
Because the cunt doesn't get tested. He doesn't. I know a lot of stories. I've heard a lot of stories, but about other boxers, I could say, you know what I mean? But like, there's loopholes. There's loopholes. People ain't getting actively tested. You know what I mean? Like, I've only ever been tested once as a pro. Really? I could be on it, but fucking that skinny, I ain't fucking on it. I don't have that thump, so I'm not on it. I could be on it, but I'm not. I could get away with it. As an amateur, I used to get tested all the time. Yeah. Urine test, but as a pro, I've only been tested once. But so there is loopholes around, but I believe he's on it. If he's gonna sue me for it, there's no point in having fuck all. So
there you go.
But like, he could. Yeah, back to Conor. Yeah, I think Conor could. Conor could win a world title if he believes and sets it up properly. He could do it. Yeah. Yeah. Why not?